Good evening, Tottenham fans. It is real. This is getting real now. I looked at the Premier League table and Tottenham are in the bottom three, and it is heartbreaking. It's still, I still can't believe it. When I look at it, it just doesn't look right. Spurs being in the bottom three, but it's real. This is what's happening. Tomorrow we play against Sunderland, and it's a must-win game. We have to win this now. If we don't win this, then it's not in our hands anymore. The way I watched West Ham the other night, they won 4-0 easily. They're together. They're fighting. I think we're going to need at least 4 wins out of these 7 games. And is that possible? I think it is. It is possible. But it's going to be a massive uphill task. I looked at this stat on Sky Sports, and we are 20th position for every stat that you can think of that is bad. 5 points leaves 5 points in 2026, left us at 20th, minus 14 goal difference, most goals conceded. You know, every stat you can think of, Spurs are 20th in 2026, and it has to change, and it has to change tomorrow. We haven't got time now for Zerbi to bed in. He needs to have a manager's bounce, and he needs to have it straight away. We haven't got time for him to implement his ideas. These guys just have to. They just have to now pick themselves up and fight for this club, fight for the badge, and fight for the fans, fight for themselves, because the situation at the moment is something that nobody could even imagine after winning the Europa League. Nobody could even believe that we'd be in this position, but we are, and it's real. Zerbi comes in, the players seem to be buying into him, fans seem to be taken to him too now. The training methods, the way the players are talking about him, the way ex-players have spoken about him, the way other managers speak about him. You know, I think Sandro came to this the training ground the other day, and he was saying things like, "I was on fire to play for Zerbi." People want to play for this manager, and if he can have that effect with these players, and they want to be on fire to play for Zerbi, then we have a chance anyway, because I do believe we have the quality. It's just, will they turn up? We've been burnt so many times thinking that a new manager was going to change something, or a new tactic was going to change something, or players coming back were going to change things. Nothing seems to be changed. We still seem to keep losing. So tomorrow against Sunderland, it's going to be a huge, huge game. And there's more pressure on it now that West Ham have got that victory. And now we are in the bottom 3. The only positive I can think about going to Sunderland, because Sunderland away is a very hard game this season, but they have lost the last 3 at home. That's the one thing I'm going to cling on to. I know that we haven't won at all this season, but I have to cling on to something. And if they haven't won for the last 3 times at home, then I've got something there. But also, they went out to Port Vale in the FA Cup as well. So they can be got at and they can be beaten. But we need confidence. Have we got enough quality? I do believe so. I believe that, with your doggy back at left back, we're going to have Xavi, Bergvall playing back now. Gray's on form at the minute. We've got some good technical players. That Zerbi likes technical players like Bergvall, Gray, Porro, Xavi Simons. Mawani could be pretty technical when he wants to be. He did speak about Mawani and said, he's having a bad season, but he's a very good player. He said he wanted to sign him at Marseille, so maybe we might see a better Tell tomorrow, especially with more attacking football. I remember last season when Tell was playing for the first team, but he wasn't playing for the first team, as the first team were rested for the Europa League. So I want to see Tell in an attacking sense for under Zerbi and see how well he can go. We have got the attacking players to do it with Solanke and Richarlison as well. Obviously, with Xavi, we've got solid defenders when they're on form, but at the moment, Van de Ven, Romero are not on form. Danso's on form. I think he's playing exceptional. If Romero wasn't the captain, I would have picked Danso to start tomorrow. Vicario's not playing. Might be a good thing, especially if we're playing out from the back. Kinksky, I know he had that poor performance against Atletico Madrid, but I am blaming that pitch because it wasn't just Tottenham that night. Barcelona went there another night as well, and they had the same problems. So did their goalkeeper, by the way. So I'm going to give Kinksky another chance. Have the choice, really. But I think he'll do a lot better, and he might be able to stake a claim in the first team. Now, I want to talk about confidence because I think confidence is massive in football. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what name you are. If you haven't got confidence, you turn into a completely different player. We've seen it time and time and time again. If you think about Fernando Torres when he was at Liverpool, full of confidence, banging in 30, 40 goals a season. He went to Chelsea, lost his confidence, and all of a sudden he couldn't score open goals. He was missing 6-yard shots. He was passing. He couldn't do a 6-yard pass, and we've seen it again with players that we've had, like Timo Werner, when he was in Germany. He was banging in the goals and then, getting assists. And when he comes to Spurs, had a couple of bad games, lost his confidence. He couldn't shoot if it was an open goal. He was really, really bad. It makes a massive difference when your confidence is low. And when you have lots of injuries and your better players are all sitting on the bench or sitting in the treatment table and you've got to do it and you lose a game, you start not believing in yourself. You're thinking, does he even deserve to be in this first team? You can't do simple passes. You can't take simple shots. You don't do brave passes anymore. You start passing backwards, start passing sideways. Like you see with Vicario just kicking the ball off the pitch. It makes a massive difference when you haven't got confidence. It really does. It makes a huge difference. If the Zerbi can fix one thing in this Tottenham side and fix their mentality, we will stay up. I have no doubt about it. But if he can't, and these players continue to have lack of confidence, have lack of belief, we will go down. It's as simple as that. I don't think it's down to quality. I do believe it's down to belief and their mentality to win games. Because the more they're losing, the more the belief is getting drained out of them, and the more they just think they can't do it anymore. And the more that we get on their backs, thinking that they're not as good as what people are making them out to be. Like I've called out Romero because he's been very poor this season. Very, very poor. He's let us down many times, getting sent off as well, stupidly. But I do believe if you had a confident Christian Romero with confident players around him, I do believe that he will improve massively and we can go on to stay up this year. We have to stay up this year. We really do. We could have an exciting next season under De Zerbi. We can. If we can stay up in these last 7 games, win 4 of these last 7 and stay up, De Zerbi then can implement his system completely with these players and some new players coming in, maybe even some academy players breaking through or some of the loan players coming back like Vuskovic. There's a lot of excitement that can happen, but we need to get past these 7 games first. That's all we can think about right now. De Zerbi said all he's thinking about is Sunday and against Sunderland. He said he'll know more after that game, what he needs to do, what they need to do. But the players themselves, they know they can play football. They just need to have belief. And believe me, I've been there myself. I used to be a footballer. And when my confidence went, I couldn't score from 3 yards out. When I had confidence, I could score from any angle, from any distance out. It is belief. And if you haven't got it, it drains you. It really does drain you. You don't even think straight when you're on the pitch. You don't even, you can see the player is not, you can even see that the player's got a man on him. And in your brain that you shouldn't pass to him. But you panic and you pass to him anyway because you're not thinking straight. And I've seen that a lot because I've went to a couple of games this season at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And I could see it a mile off that they're not confident. And as soon as they started misplacing passes, the crowd were groaning, and you could see the confidence drain away from them again. Now, when I went to the Nottingham Forest game, the crowds were absolutely behind the team. It's the loudest I've heard them for a long time. But again, as soon as they started misplacing passes, the confidence drained from them. So what I don't want to see tomorrow is as soon as something goes wrong, I don't want everything just to collapse. I want them to just brush it off and then go again. So I think people like Gray and Bergvall should be starting because if they make mistakes, they just carry on, they ignore it and they play on again. They don't seem to let it bother him. Like Bergvall misplaces passes, and then the next time he gets the ball, he does a back heel. He doesn't care. You know, Gray's the same. He'll just crack on with it. So those two should be starting, in my opinion. You know, Xavi Simons, he's just constantly always trying. He's got so much work rate on him. But I've noticed many times when he's got the ball, he wants to do that brave pass, but no one's doing that brave run for him because nobody's brave enough at the minute to want to receive the ball. So hopefully, because we're away, there isn't as much pressure from the crowd. Maybe they might relax a little bit. Maybe they might start turning it on. If we can get an early goal, it might boost our confidence. And maybe, as long as we don't do anything silly like getting any sending offs, then maybe we can win this game. I'm going to go for a score prediction here. I'm going to go for a 3-2 Tottenham. I think this is going to be a crazy roller coaster game. I really do. I think we're going to go for it. I think we're going to get caught out a couple of times, but in the end, I think we're going to get the victory. I think I'm going to go for a 3-2. This is probably more heart than anything else because I haven't seen anything to suggest that we should win this game. Sunderland are very, very good at home. They'll be massively up for this as well. So I'm going to go 3-2 Tottenham. My prediction has always been crap, but let me know in the comments what you think. What's your score prediction for tomorrow? This is a must-win. Not even a draw is enough for us at the moment. A must-win for Spurs tomorrow. Let me know your score predictions in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and come on, you Spurs.